Hello, hello. Hello. Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Hello, hi. Welcome everybody. Um I've done something that I've never done before, and I'm very happy with the result. I don't know if you can tell, but I've actually opened I I have never touched the filter settings on OBS, and I've decided to actually figure out what they do, and I opened the filter settings. And you know what? It's wonderful now, I think. Cuz I think so here was the issue. In the video in the last video I did, I realized that for the stream audio, in the recordings it cuts out my S's. And so I was like, okay, I need to look at the filters because there's one of the filters or whatever that just doesn't like me saying the letter S. And it was the noise suppressor. So I removed the noise suppressor and actually like looked up a bit of a tutorial on like how the hell filters actually worked, and I added a few. I added like a noise gate and a compressor, and now I can scream, and it's actually like sort of the same volume as me talk. Look, listen. Ah! 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 See, I can scream, and it doesn't peak the mic. You can actually hear my agony in its entirety, which is wonderful. You know, in the case that I suddenly just feel like screaming. It is crisp now, yeah. I did remove the noise compressor entirely, which means when I talk, there is like a slight fuzz in the background because you can hear my air conditioner or like my fan sometimes in the background. But I think it's a worthy sacrifice so that you can actually hear my S's, because it also cut out my S's because I think it was thinking that my S's are just like fan sounds. So it was like, yeah, remove those. W audio fix. Yes. I didn't even know about compressors before this, which is making me realize a lot of my streams have been very unwatchable, and also my videos aren't very they're not compressed at all, like the audio for videos. Which means I should definitely start compressing that as well, because this, like, I recorded it and listened to it myself, and just compressing it made it so much more pleasant because there wasn't any loud and quiet parts. It was just sort of evenly speaking noise, you know? And that was really nice. So I'll definitely do that for videos going forward as well. I don't know how it took this long for me to actually look into it. But yeah, we're just gonna continue working on this. The thing I did in the video. I still don't want to look at the video. I hate the video that I made, but I just had to get it out. And I still haven't looked at any of the comments or anything, because I just do not dare to see the reception of it. I was almost not. I mean, I wrote a comment about it. I was always not gonna post it, but then my girlfriend convinced me otherwise. Yeah, because I finished it, so it wasn't. It was just gonna be a waste if I threw it away. For some reason, like after finishing editing it, I was like, this sucks. Like, it is clunky. It's shit. And I just felt like setting it on fire, but I posted it. The audio feels a bit weird. In what way? What can I do? How can I... Hold on. Hello, test. Yeah. Can you hear me? How's it weird? Okay, I recorded myself so I can listen to it. Well, shit, my headphones aren't connected to my computer. How the... Sec. Feels a bit weird. Yeah, but in what way? I kind of need to know. Well, I guess it's kind of hard to explain, so it's understandable. I just, like, it feels buzzy. Yeah, that's because of the noise gate. Or, no, the... Buzzy. Yeah, it's because I didn't have a noise suppressor on it. Hold on. Okay, or not a noise suppressor. It was a what's it called? What's it called? Yeah, it is a noise suppressor. Hold on. Let me try adding a noise suppressor and see how that might help. I'm just worried it's just gonna fucking remove my S's again. Noise suppressor. Yes. Okay, what about now? Is that good? I've added a suppressor. The issue is, yeah, I'm just worried it's gonna remove my S's. Not like in the middle of words. It only happens when it's like, hold on, suck, stimulating, sentience, Superman. Are those getting cut off? Is the S on that getting cut off? Yeah, it did cut one of those off. I made I recorded it, and so the downside of adding suppression is it makes the audio a lot more clean, but sometimes it's gonna remove my S's. It's doing it a little. Yeah, yeah. Like the two first words didn't remove the S. I guess it's because they had enough punch to them. So they're gonna get Uberman. Yeah, they're gonna get lost. I hear the S. That's sort of the issue with the sound suppression, I guess, is because my S's are very lispy. Yeah, and they don't. Sadly, like the sound suppression doesn't have any adjustments. Like there's no way to adjust it. It's just a sound suppressor. Oh, I see. You notice? Just a little. Yeah, I hope it's not too bad. Because I found it quite annoying when I was editing the stream that like I just realized a lot of my S words got lost. It cuts them off just a little. Yeah, how am I gonna but it also like the background audio is completely gone, right? Like the buzzing that you were talking about in the background, that's gone as well, right? Yeah. It's just annoying that it gets like clumped in together. I know why, but like how am I gonna fix that? Your last video was fine, especially for a first time trying this new format. The only thing about is maybe the pacing of the video felt a little off. Yeah. I yeah, I felt like there was like the thing that I hated about it was that I knew I had the dampener of saying that it was my first time. So it was like I could use that as an excuse, and I can still use it as an excuse for a while as I like try to understand how to do it better. But even knowing that it was my first time, I could feel that there was so much I could improve. Uh, but I didn't know how. That was the annoying part. It's like I knew it sucked and I could do something better, but I don't know how because I just wasn't familiar with doing it that way yet. So I just need to do that more, I think. I just need to get better at cutting streams and voiceovers together and then just figuring out how much of the stream to keep, how long to leave it going, how to like have those flow into each other nicely, right? Like that's the hard part. Is like that's just I feel like a lot of that's just gonna be with trial and error. Like I just have to keep doing it until I get better at finding that rhythm of how to edit that. And also I think I'm gonna separate lore videos and process videos because I think the new method does make it so you can feel the emotion of the process more. But the downside is it gets a lot longer because stream clips aren't efficient, right? They convey an emotion well, but this they don't do it quickly. Which a very scripted out thing can do. Like I could have explain the same concept in like 5 minutes without the stream clips if I just did voiceover, but then you wouldn't get any of the discovery that happened on stream, you know? And I feel like if I so inevitably they're gonna be long videos. They're gonna be like 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Um, which means like when I was thinking about normally before this, I was like sometimes doing only lore videos and then lore videos with the process also baked in. So it was doing both. But the issue is, because I was scripting the process as well, it was very concise. So both sections were sort of the same ish length, kind of. But now if I like tack a lore section onto the back of like a 12-minute video or the front of a 12-minute video, it's kind of weird. So I think I'm gonna separate them out into two separate things, and then it's also like very. I think it'll be nice and clean because then you sign up for a video by clicking on it, and then you know exactly what you're getting. If you're clicking on the I designed a dot 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 video, then it's literally just process, and you get to enjoy just listening to a dude and his stream trying to figure out how to design something, and then coming up with a design, and that's it. And then if you want the lore of that thing, you click on the other one. So it's like it's all of them are like nice little bite-sized pieces. I don't think I need to like there's no limit to how many videos I can post. I could just fucking separate it out all nice into its own little pieces. So it can be like creative videos, which are streams, the idea spew, and then the lore videos, which would be more concrete. Yes, I think exactly that. I think that's what I'm gonna do moving forward because the two things together you can make it work in one video, but I just feel like they're so different from each other that it's awkward to transition between them. You just have to say, like, now comes the lore section. And they're both completely separate tonally, you know? So yeah, I completely agree. I think that's going to be the plan going forward. But yeah, anyway, um, like I said in the last video, I don't like the worm that much. Or I like it. I like it. I did say I like it. I do like it, but I gave you the reason why I don't think it works. It's because it doesn't actually fit with the drill. We designed this separately from the drill, which means it's a cool creature on its own, but it doesn't really work for what we actually needed it to accomplish, which was look cool on the end of a drill bit, a living drill bit. So I went back to the drawing board here, and I'm playing around with like more exaggerated big old mouths. I'm still keeping the same idea of using the spike to destroy rock with magic, but just like adding like a shape that looks like jaws or just literally jaws. I'm trying to play around if maybe I can have the claws, sort of mantis claws that look like jaws or just jaws. Not sure yet. Haven't settled into place yet. But this looks so much better. Like this already looks like it would work so much better on the front of a drill bit. Yeah, it would be funny. It would be funny if I did that. Bobbit worms. Have you seen that? Yes. I literally. So I thought a bit more about the how these worms actually work in nature, like their ethology. I think that's the word for it, ethology. Like how they just function, interact with other creatures and their behaviors and stuff. That's called ethology, I think. And I decided, you know what? With how aggressive these dudes look, it really doesn't feel right to have them just uh eat fungus off the walls. So I'm changing it and having them be hunters. They are ambush predators, the same way as bobbit worms. So that's what I wrote on their description, was basically they are land bobbit worms, which I think would be cool. I don't know how that would affect the like are they hunting in packs? Are they solitary? Do the females take care of their young, or do the males stick around too? Stuff like their life cycle and way they grow up and stuff like that. I have no idea, but I do know that I want them to be like ambush predators the same way as bobbit worms. And I imagine them sort of digging these like little mouse hole sized holes in like bunker cities, and they just snatch up bugs and vermin and little rats and stuff, whatever they can get their hands on. Um, Worm before designing the drill. If you have drill, it's probably already worm-esque. Why mount it on a worm? Just for locomo? No, 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 no. You're not getting it. Sorry. The 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 drill is mechanical. The head of the drill is the worms. So they're using the worms to dig for them. The worms are the drill heads. That's why I need to design the worms at the same time as the drill to have them actually look nice together. And look cool. Like, have a cool silhouette. One worm guy going room going... What? When worms became witch... I don't know. Yeah, what was... yeah, let's design worms. Let's design worms. The drill to make rock go bye-bye. Yes. Yeah, and also I'm trying to make the spike more prominent, but also not stick out too much. I think I'm very interested in this design, where it sort of has this sack at the bottom of its head. Because it still like tells you that there's a very long spike in it. It just doesn't stick too far at the front, but it has a feature on it that still identifies or tells you that there's something there that needs that room to accommodate it. Dimorphism for it, and males are just small like the old one. Or oh, we could do yeah. We could do like anglerfish type of deal where these are only females. And like the males are just these little shitty fucking like little zits that just like attach to them. So the older females will just have a bunch of like little males just hanging off of her like skin tags. Kind of that would be fun. Yeah, I actually like that. Let's do like an anglerfish type of deal. Gonna write that down. Female. There you go. Male worm mate. Eat most and leave him hanging. Yeah, so okay, but like in the case of anglerfishes, they're in the sea. So like the little fish guy, the little males can just like sort of swim around. But in this case, like with the females being like giant digging worms, and how small would the males be? Do we think that the males would have digging ability as well? Oh, you know what would be fun? What if so because they have like the digging spike, right? What if in the male version that digging spike serves a dual purpose? Like they they use it to dig, but then when they reach a female and it's like mating season or whatever, they use that same spike to like fuse themselves, like they dig a hole into the side of the female and like just fuse their face into the hole, and then sort of degenerate into just a paragenitalia, and that gets like left behind. Is a needle to hook in? No, 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 not the needle. I do think they would have like genitalia that isn't the needle. I mean like they use the needle to bore a hole into the female and then like stick themselves to it. His mind went that way. No, it did not. But I did recently see a video of camel spiders. I think it was camel spiders mating, and that shit's just funny. I mean, it's like it's kind of nasty, but also really funny because it I think it was camel spiders. The dude mounts the female, and then he just comes in his own hands and like bundles it up into a little clump. I'm saying hands, but it's his mandibles, like the front mandibles. But imagine it being hands. He just comes in his own hands, bundles it up into a little ball, and then just fucking shoves it into the female. Like he finds the right flap, and then just uses his hands to like just get the fuck, like just push it in there. Like it's like he's packing clothes into a stuffed suitcase. Like it's not even. It's so fucking funny. When I saw it, I was like, that's. But yeah, it didn't look. It looked very weird. It was very weird, but also kind of funny. Watching spider. No, I was not watching spider porn. I was scrolling through fucking. I don't even remember where I found it. Yeah, I guess I was watching spider porn. Yeah, I was just watching spider porn. The mandibles are limbs. Yeah, but when I say mandibles, it's the pincer things. And yeah, it's the, those are, when I say arms, I think it's funnier because I'm sort of imagining him just like shoving it. I was thinking the male would stick to the cave walls and then just stick onto the female going past them. Ooh, that'd also be interesting. Yeah, I sort of feel like having them be very parasitic in a sense is interesting. Like you said, like they just stick to the walls, or they just like follow the tunnels that already exist. Like they go down already existing tunnels following some, I don't know, pheromones or whatever, and just look for a female, and when the female crawls past, they just like attach themselves to them. I think that'd be really interesting. Very weird, but also interesting. Is in anglerfish's case, I know it only to the extent that the male like attaches it to himself to the female. But I'm also curious if anybody knows, is there any like courting ritual with anglerfish, or do they literally just cruise up to a female and just stick themselves to them, and the female couldn't give less of a fuck about them? Or is there like, does the I don't know if the male has to do something to convince the female, like, hey, want me to stick to your side, baby girl, and like give her a fucking flower or something, a deep sea coral. They cruise up. Yeah. They fight with their phallus until one of them loses it, then they mate. Wait, is that the snail one? I know like types of snails they joust. That's also quite interesting. They just stab each other. I don't think the male can do much. Yeah, he's too small. Getting stabbed through the chest by a male worm. Wandering a tunnel. Yeah, it seems quite unpleasant. What would I feel like it'd be fun if the female, like the female, when it's moving through a tunnel, obviously it's gonna sense the male hanging on the tunnel. So if, for example, they already have a male latched onto them, or like too many of them already, they just eat them. Like they just male is just hanging up there, I'm gonna get some, and the female is like already taken and just fucking eats them and then just moves on. Because like what else? Like you can't just like accept all of them if there's like a bunch of them just hanging in a tunnel. They just eat them. I feel like that'd be funny or fun and just a simple solution to go about it. Fish does to sharks. Well, we already compared it to anglerfish. That's like the whole thing. The anglerfish, the males like assimilate themselves into the female and just stick to them like a skin tag. I wonder if the soldiers get bored and shoot them down for sport because they explode like a gusher. Ew. I mean, they'd be inside the tunnels, and the tunnels aren't really exposed, so I don't think you'd be able to shoot them down like gushers. They gyrate when they're in heat. Ugh. Okay, hear me out. They gyrate when they're in heat. What if that is like a way of attracting the female is that they eat little pebbles so that they have stones in them and then they jiggle around to have the stones hit each other so it makes like a maraca type of sound and the one that makes the loudest the female like goes down that tunnel and picks that one up or whatever. That's just so just spitballing. That'd be very weird. But I was talking to Shabby and Sedeka with about the idea, and Sedeka came up with a really good idea. Or Shabby, I don't know. I think it was Sedeka. Hold on, let me check just to make sure. Yeah, Sedeka came up with a really simple idea because I was sort of thinking, okay, if like why are these creatures attracted to the bunker cities? If not, the reason we already decided on was it's because they prefer digging through stone. But there has to be something else because they're going to the bunker city specifically, or like large war structures. And he just came up with the most obvious solution ever and just said, well, they're just attracted by vibrations. So that's literally it. Like obviously they would use vibrations to like sense food and stuff like that. And what else would be vibrating the most than the giant bustling bunker cities and bunkers in the trenches where like big machine guns are shot and stuff like that. So yeah, just very obvious, very good idea from him. Oh, hello, Amanza, welcome. They just bite, then turn into balls. Well, yeah, that's what they do. Enough guys, some guy on what? So it is the multiple life form idea. Kinda. They act as a living hive in a sense. I guess. I guess they do. So bigger worms is more male. Well, I don't think they just like physically grow with the males they accumulate. It's just more dead weight on them. Like they're I feel like more males would just mean there's more dead weight on them. So do they eat rocks? They eat little rodents and stuff in the bunker cities. I think like bobbit worms, terrestrial bobbit worms. Uh, I did talk to Shabby and Sadeka about it. Like, oh, can they eat concrete? There's no nutrients in concrete. I'm just accepting they're not eating the concrete. Even not even a little. They're just like digging through it and making tunnels, but there's nothing to gain from concrete. How long are you creating Monster Garden already? Oh, it's been a while. It's been a few years, like 3 years, maybe 2 years. I'd say 2 years. Definitely been 2 years. Uh, maybe three. Give me a Yeah, we were talking about having like a type of fungus that they cultivate in damp stone, like concrete, and so they feed off. They do the same thing as leafcutter ants, where they basically farm a type of fungus as a food source. Uh, but the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, could be could be something else. How big are they? Pretty big. I'd say like a forearm at least. I want these guys pretty big. Because the thing is, if I made them too small, they wouldn't be able to be used on drills. And also, they just wouldn't really add anything substantial to the world. Um, like, I'm investing time into designing them? I really need them to be big enough to actually show off that design, you know? Okay, anyway, I've been yapping enough. Let's dig. Let's no let's draw, not let's dig. I have become worm. I've been worm pilled. Whatever they say. Yeah, what not as big as I thought. Yeah, the fun idea behind them was that uh they would have to put multiple of them together to make one giant like living drill head. And that's the fun of it, right? If they came any bigger, I feel like there wouldn't be any reason for them to pack multiple of them together, and that was like the whole crux, like the main shtick of the concept. So they had to be big, but not too big. And then also I thought like there would be the person-sized ones that are like used in common trench tunneling and stuff, and then there's the giant tunnel bore ones, which would be basically multiple of the small drills just stuck onto each other. So it's like small worms on big drill, and then big drill on even bigger drill. So it's like fractaling down, which I think is really cool. I think that'd be a fun idea. But yeah, anyway, bugs or no, worms. Yes, worms. Let's continue drawing worms. Okay, I'm just gonna like draw around. I don't really have much of a plan with them. So I'm just gonna like sort of draw and see what comes out, and maybe at after a while we can like add ideas to it. I also don't know how how circular I want them to be. Like from the front, do I want their jaws to be like this? Or do I want their jaws to be sort of like a lot more circular, like that? I think circular would definitely. Okay. What? Oh no, Twitter artist memories. What? Is going to get too close to the to those design. Wait, what do you mean? Twitter artist memories. This is going to get too close to those designs. What? How do they even control these things? I don't fucking know. Well, we'll have to figure that out. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm 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 not in touch with stuff on Twitter. Yeah, it is sort of a mole, but also I'm taking inspiration from hagworms. Not hagworms, hagfish. They also got the like little dingies, and I definitely want to keep those. Okay, then we need that like under the ball sack, right? And like, is there a way for me to make the ball sack look magical? Because it's a magical ball sack. It's not just a ball sack. Because that's where the spike resides. So the idea is that the spike is attached to like glands that store and very quickly release mana, like a biological capacitor, right? and those are like around the base of the spike. And then those like contract and they force out a really fast jet of mana out of the spike, which then explodes the rock because it causes the rock to exceed max saturation. So those are stored inside the ball sack. Um, Glowing orbs, yeah, like because I do want it to look like that's where the magic comes from the balls, but also not like too fantasy esque. Like I could totally just like add some fucking glowing orbs here like this and just have those like charge up like a electric Pokemon or something. Um but you know, I'm a dwarf. I'm a diggy diggy dig a hole, diggy a hole. What? Fungus glow. Mana is stored in the balls, yes. So yeah, how am I think I don't want them to be just sagging. I do think I like this a lot more. I'm gonna take this. I like the structure. I think there needs to be a sense that it is rigid and there is musculature there that lets the worm like push the spike forward. So less just floppy and more like a chameleon, like a chameleon's tongue, like where they can like shoot it out. So it needs like musculature to it. What we can take inspiration from is those fish with the big mouths. Fish with big mouth. What are those called? Uh, 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 uh. No, not fingerheads or fringe heads. Fingerheads. Fringe heads is not the right one. Thinking about a different. God, where is that? Like the ones where they have like a really big jaw and they just unfold it into like a big old balloon. Ah, there you go. Eel. It's an eel. Big mouth eel. Yes, here it is. Here it is. Well, what I pictured wasn't really that. I guess I sort of remembered it differently, but well, I can use this. I think I can use this. Look. This guy. Is that called a frogfish? What are these guys called? Gulper. I think they're called gulper. Gulper eels, not frogfish. Yeah, dragonfly. Oh yeah, dragonfly nymphs as well. Totally. Nymphs. Jaw. Yeah, these are really interesting. Like two fused front arms. Is there like a yeah? There you go. This is a good picture of it. Yeah, something like this. I think I definitely want the the ball sack to look more like something that has mechanical tension in it. You know, I don't want the spike to just be still. I want it to like push out of the front of the face. Yeah, how would I do that? Yeah, I do like. I gotta redo this. Because I definitely want to do something in that sense, like this. I think what makes me like this is this fold here. This fold makes it look like sort of a mouth, but also like gives it tension, like an elbow kind of look to it. And then this jaw just coming straight down, I like that too, actually. Because it makes it clear that that mechanism, whatever this is under tension, isn't actually influencing the jaw. It's for the spike because it's in line with the spike. Oh. Does the spike make the rock go away or just break it? It just breaks it up and then it eats it. And we gotta suspend disbelief for to a certain extent, because the thing is, it is impossible for this thing to eat and shit out all the rock that it mines, for it to like dig quickly. Um, but like that suspension of disbelief, I think, is quite easy because it is very common in fiction for that specific thing to be suspended. Like digging creatures in fiction always have that. Like giant mole with big claws can just swim through the earth and you can see the mound like moving and shit, and they can just do it easy. Or like digging worms that just have a big old mouth that can just swim through the earth and you don't even think about it. Like, hold on. So they're all of the dirt that they're moving through their mouth comes out the other end that quickly. Like they're swallowing all of it and shitting it out to move that fast through the earth, like 20 feet through the earth per turn or something. It is completely unrealistic, but we just have to be like, eh. Cause, yeah, cause, like, what other... The other solution is just, it has a really fast method of breaking rock, and then it just sits there eating the fucking rocks very slowly after every time it breaks them, and becomes the most boring digging creature in the world. What are the pros and cons of this form of digging compared to disintegration? Honestly, there's only pros to this form of digging. Um, there's cons to disintegration because it spends mana. Well, okay, I'm on the fence. I'm a little on the fence. Do we want disintegration magic to still be a thing? Because it was either going to be magic is still a thing, and no, disintegration magic also turns things into dust. It's just that it uses magic to cast a spell to cause things to disintegrate. This is just using max saturation to disintegrate the rock. The reason why disintegration mages don't just do this, what the worm does, is because the organ that these guys use to force mana into rocks, we have not found a way to replicate that. The speed at which this thing manages to force mana into rocks is why it's so efficient at digging. If you have an acceleration mage force mana into a rock, they won't be able to do it as fast as this little worm thing. Right? So it's not that there's cons to this. This is the best method to dig rocks theoretically. We just haven't been able to emulate it with anything yet. And that's why we stick these worms to the front of drills, because these are the only creatures we found that do it this way and have evolved specifically to do it this way. Yeah. But I don't know. Disintegration. Well, that was the Sluppies. The Sluppies used disintegration magic, but I'm not sure if I want to keep the Sluppies uh, still. You know, I'm not sure about those yet. Like nothing's canon. Don't think too Like for me, I just remove and add shit as I feel like it. So I might like remove the sluppies and just replace them with something else, or I don't know. Or like I said, I'm sort of contemplating removing disintegration magic outright. Um, but I don't think that would be good. Like that's just the method we figured out to dig or excavate things using magic. And then this is the different method that this creature found out that's better, but we just haven't been able to emulate it. I love your art and your creativity so much. Any tips on how to get ideas like yours? I want to try making crazy creatures like yours, but I don't know where to start. Uh, well, I I'm not a concept artist, so like I can't. I Yeah, I don't want to give it. I can just tell you how I do it, but that's not advice. That's just personal experience. So you can do that, take that with uh, whatever way you want. The thing is, I feel like it's in most of art, it's really hard to give advice, especially when it's like more conceptual things like that kind of question, is because it's really, really personal. Uh, it's all up to personal preference with how you actually prefer to go about things. Some people like to start just drawing and see what shapes come out and then try and think of lore for them. Some people like to write out everything exactly and then design a creature that fits those criteria. It so depends. For me, I do both. I do both of those methods, depending on how I feel. With this creature, we started with the idea first, and then drew a creature that fit the idea. So we started. Hold on, here. Look, this is a good example. Um, Here you go. This is what we did. We started with. Where's the words? The words are gone. But yeah, I wrote down like digging creature, and then we just thought of ways that it could dig, and then what the creature would be, and then just picked the ones that appealed to me the most. Like most of the concepts I make are just me thinking of the options I have, and then just picking the one that appeals to me the most at the moment and trying to smash them together into something. And then just going with the flow. But yeah, that doesn't really help much, does it? Like I told you, it's sort of more personal. It's kind of hard to describe it as like a very solid or thought out process because there's not like a I step one, step two. It's just like back and forth. I draw a few drawings, I get stuck. I go back to the drawing board. I redraw it again. I talk to the chat a little bit, come up with a new idea, write it down, try that. Like it's not a science in the slightest for me. For some people, it probably is. Like especially for like again concept artists. Concept artists 100% like they would need to have their shit figured out. Because they're doing it as a job and they need to like pump out concepts so quickly and so efficiently. Uh, yeah, no idea, no idea. Sorry, I couldn't help more. But yeah, I have no clue what I do most of the time, and I'm just fucking around and seeing what sticks 90% of the time anyway. You know, there's definitely better people to take inspiration from for like that. That way. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Well, you're welcome then. Yeah, I recommend, or again, I don't want to give advice. Personally, I like thinking of weird ways to accomplish the same thing. Because when I say like digging creature, there's things that come to mind. Oh, give it a big mouth, give it some claws, take moles as inspiration. But the more you like or the more I try to like figure out weirder ways of accomplishing the same thing, the more interesting concepts I get. Because if I just defaulted with the first thing I came up with, it would have literally just been a mole, and we'd be done. But because we did the mind map and like just tried to figure out as many ways of accomplishing the same task as possible, we had like an array of options to choose from and then pick the interesting ones that might like synergize well. So we ended up with, instead of just, oh, it eats rocks, we ended up with a creature that has a spike in its mouth that it uses as a magic depth charge to explode rock in front of it and then eat it. So we did end up with eating as the end of the cycle, but still the way it digs is interesting, right? And instead of just having like, oh, one big worm that they use to dig tunnels, it's, oh, what if they use a bunch of tiny worms and like stick them together into a big old drill head, you know? And if we just went with the first thing we thought up, then the concept would be a lot more boring. Yeah, I don't think this one looks good. Yeah, I'm just worried that like I might accidentally say things too matter of fact or too confidently. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like you can probably understand that. I just don't want people thinking that I'm telling you like, oh, this is the way, because that's never the case. Like that doesn't exist. That's just how I do it. So I always like double, triple preface that before. It's just a force of habit, so I can't help it. Every time I say something, I'm like, oh, well, don't fucking listen to me, or I don't know what I'm doing, and then I go into what I say. I can't help it anymore. That's just how it is now. Also, I highly recommend actually reading stories and literature, which really helps me with the visual idea. But yeah, like also like starting from like a spark and then just running with it often helps me. Like sometimes I have like a little cool idea where it's like, oh, it'd be really cool if I have like soldiers that can replace their limbs, right? But there's nothing around that. And then the goal of conceiving the idea is less figuring out the cool hook, because the cool hook was what started it. And then the challenge is more trying to figure out a scenario where that hook can be used. You know, so it's really concept dependent, or like it that that's what I love about concepts. It's like there's so many ways you could even start an idea. Because like with this idea, we didn't have the hook. We had the idea of wanting or needing a drilling creature. Then there's the opposite, which is having the hook but not having the thing that accomplishes the hook, which was the case for like the undying soldier. Is I knew I wanted a soldier that can replace limbs, but then I had to come up with the parameters that would allow a character to have that ability. And then we needed to build the scaffolding to prop up that hook. You know, and that's so fun. Like there's so many ways. Or um, there's also like sometimes they arise out of narrative necessity, because you just wrote a story or something, and it just happens that there needs to be a monster in the story. Like, oh, I wrote a story, and okay, there needs to be a monster, and the monster needs to be able to spit acid, right? And so you have your like your list of things that the creature needs to accomplish to be able to fit into that role, and then you like start from there as well. There's so many different ways. It's so fun. Yeah. And sometimes you just draw, like you just sketch random shit, and you just sketched a shape that you liked, and then you go, huh, I like that. I want to turn that into a concept. And then you just have to like spitball what this thing could do. So it's like the drawing comes first, and then what it actually does and what the creature is. You know? This is sort of interesting. I'm still thinking I miss the claws. I really miss the claws on this thing, because I really like the claws. But it's also so hard to make claws a jaw shape. If I make the mantis claws, because that means the bottom needs to have the arm and the jaw and then the top jaw, which sort of thickens out and clunkifies clunkifies the silhouette. I guess I can hold on. I could move the hinge into the inside. So it's like this, and then the arm is here. So it's 1, 2, and then 3 like that instead of so like this instead of this. Really fond of this worm design. It looks so damn good. Thank you, thank you. It's still not there though. It's sort of again, it hasn't fallen into place yet. Like I'm just sort of aimlessly adding and drawing things, but it's gonna lock in eventually. You can make the claws part of the drill. No, no, no. I want the worm to have the cool claws. And not be a crab mouth, but really big. Well, crab mouths are kind of flat, right? And that's what I'm trying to avoid. What I said in the video was basically the issue with this design mainly is that I like the idea of having the front flat, so it like sort of uses its arms to like brush the dust into its mouth. So this is sort of like the crab mouth idea that you mentioned with there's like a sort of crab-like mouth behind these claws. But the issue with this is it looks cool. I like the design a lot. But when you put it on a drill, that's what it looks like. And that doesn't really tell you that it's a drill. That doesn't scream drill, right? So I need something that has mouths or something that resembles the silhouette of mouths to make it look like this, because that looks like it drills. Right? It's all just pure like the reason I can't use it is purely uh like silhouette based. What if the first design is what they looked like before they were selectively bred? I mean, yeah, that could be a possibility as well, but that still means that I have to actually draw the selectively bred version. Um, yeah, okay, I don't think the claws are gonna work. Because the thing is, I like the folds of skin that go over the beak, and I like that the beak is really thick. And both of those things I can't really do if I have them be claws. So I think it's just gonna be a mouth, and then have the spike come out. And then also, we can make it look... How do we make it look... Okay, I did say it was like a terrestrial bobbit worm, which means obviously it would need teeth um to grab onto prey. So it does need actual sharp teeth. But then I also wanted it to use the jaws to like sweep things into its mouth. So they also need like brush-like hairs. Or maybe they have like separate brushing limbs. So much that they could have like separate brushing. Because like just this mouth doesn't look like it can sweep up a lot of stone. You know, there needs to be something more on the silhouette that is not the mouth that looks like a mouth. Well, yeah, that's what I thought of with using claws instead. Like this, look, this I tried to use like the mantis claws and make them look like jaws, but they're still claws. But it's still not there. I don't think it works. Like a forearm, the size of a forearm. It looks drilly enough to me. Not to me though. Or I know, I know. I could finish it here and just say, okay, there you go, done. We have the drill. But it hasn't settled into place yet. This hasn't settled into place yet. If I draw this again, it's not going to look like this because the elements are still sort of like wibbly wobbly. I'm not yet sure where everything is, you know. So I just want to keep like drawing it over and over again to like hopefully find some sort of footing. Um, okay, you know what? Maybe actually that that okay, what are these called? Fringe head. Maybe a fringe head could be some inspiration. Oh yeah, I think I can definitely get something from this. Is that a fucking camera? Robotic fringe, what the fuck? I was like, that fringe head looks kind of weird. What is that? It's a they made a fucking prop fringe head. I know exactly where this is from. This is stupid. I think I know where this is from. There's like a documentary channel that just takes the piss because they keep making like robot versions of like stealth robots to observe creatures in the wild. So it's like spy turtle, just like automaton turtle with a fucking camera in its face, and it's like, oh, a spy crab, and then it cuts to a seat, like the camera pans to the side, and it's the spy crab getting observed by a spy pelican or so. It's fucking stupid, and it's standing on a spy rock or something. It's so stupid. Okay, there you go. There's the that fish. So yeah, we could do something like that. We could do something like that where if you look at this, isn't this so how the fuck does this work? So that's the jawbone, right? That has to be the jawbone. No, that's the jaw. What is that? Is that just lips? So we can have like the ability for this creature to flare out its jaw to the side to sweep up all the rock. Kind of like that. So it has it kind of has a like a cobra. No, not a cobra. Snake. The snake with the big jaws. Snake thing going on as well, where it doesn't like the bottom jaw is separate as well. We could do that. I do like this actually. I like this. It's all jaw. Yeah, and then the spike coming out of it. That. How big is this? It's a forearm. Hold on. How big? How big? I'm writing it down so people stop asking. This is forearm, like an arm, like this big. Okay, maybe a little bigger than a forearm. That big, sort of. Maybe I don't know. I'm still not sure on the size, honestly. No jaw, just tongue. Hmm. Maybe? Nah. I need the jaws. 3 or 4 ways. Yeah, we could definitely do like tremors kind of thing going on. Bisect the jaws. Yeah, yeah, hold on. Slow down, slow down. I'm still like processing. Yeah, I've completely not considered multiple jaws like this yet. No, but that's just tremors at that point. And that feels like very classic worm digging worm design. Kind of feel Biren. Oh, oh, the Biren. The Biren, right. That project. Oh, I like that project a lot. The name didn't click because I don't remember their names that well, but I really like that project. It's the dude who did the designs for like Subnautica and shit. I really like his stuff. Stuff is great. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, it does kind of getting kind of beer-y. Yeah, because they got the like quadruple jaw thing going on. I do think I want to stick with 2 jaws. I'm still thinking if these guys are clams still. I kind of do like the clam, like the soft shell design I did in this one. I'm definitely keeping that clam middle section. Gonna go to bed. Okay, take care, Sleepy Mantis. Well, very name appropriate. Hope you have some good sleep, Sleepy Mantis. Stuck. This is like the closest to what I like. This is the closest to what I'm liking. I sort of actually like this scrunched up look here, kind of scrotumy, you know, and then a sort of more tight looking. It's gonna look weirdly phallic either way. Like it's inevitable. We can't avoid the phallicness of this design. So like just strap in. chimney kind of funny too. I also have to consider what it looks like when its mouth is closed. I haven't thought about that at all. No. Maybe the loose skin around here sort of hoods the mouth. Again, foreskin style. Help it. Look phallic. Weird growths. The hair on the mouth parts is gonna look really silly when it. That's the issue. What if it never closes? I mean, also be an option. Um, yeah, I think maybe we want some extra limbs. Maybe two limbs, or just the jaw doing all the work is too limiting. If we have the jaw, this, and then how do we like have two sweeping limbs come out of the jaw that are just like big old brushes? Like this? That is very silly. I do kind of like it though. Are you interested in the game Dispatch? No. What is that? What is Dispatch? Oh, oh, this one. Yeah, I've seen like very short snippets of it. But outside of that, I know nothing about it. Yeah, not really interested. I don't know. I don't. I think it's sort of like a Telltale Games kind of thing going on, right? Uh, Mostly focused on like speech options and story, which is not really my thing. Starfishes. Simon, did you know that there are starfish that can see without what we consider eyeballs, yet they still detect light? Well, I didn't know that, but I can definitely understand that. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being a thing. Okay, the sweeping things. I think the sweeping arms have potential. What about, what about if we do a xenomorph? What if we do a xenomorph and we give it a second jaw inside the first one that is just like a hairy vacuum, like this. And so it like sits in the first pair of jaws. So when it's not like coming out, it looks like this. Like it just looks like just sits in there. And then it can extend outwards. So we can preserve the spiky look of the outer jaws and then have one that purely looks like a vacuum cleaner. And then that one can be sort of like flexible the same way as like the snout of some like anteaters or that sort of thing. Like you can sort of see it like rooting around like some mammal snouts. That could be fun. And is the spike in here, or is it at the bottom? I feel like it'd be more fun if the spike is separate from this. It'd look more complex and also make more sense. So it's the top hole for Eaton, all the hairs. Then the jaw. And then the sort of small hole at the bottom that sort of looks like that hood that snake tongue comes out of. That. And then this can extend into a vacuum. That. I think I like that. Yeah, I think the beak does make sense. I do definitely want to keep like the beak looking aesthetic. Maybe I want them to be separate pairs of beaks, like not be rigid up here and down here, so we can keep that sort of up and down flexibility. So it doesn't just hinge like this; it can sort of flex to the sides as well because it's not connected up here. And I like the idea of them sort of maybe they like hook into each other. With hold on. Like this and this. This is the two sides of the top jaw. Then we have the teeth like this, and then we can have like the teeth sort of hooking over each other like this. Kind of interesting. Nah, nah. I like. I think I would like it more if it was just next to each. Okay, cool. Yeah. This is from Ram. I don't know if it would be used before the war. I don't know when these guys were discovered. Can't think of a. Yeah, I mean you can come up with it if you'd like. Like, what time do you think these things have been discovered? I don't know. Would they have like migrated here because of the war and like the vibration shit? So they weren't present for now? Could you do maybe their mouths as vacuum cups? So the explosion makes less sound so they don't get found out by predators? I mean, I doubt they would have. No, I think the sound is fun. And it's not that. I don't think the vibrations of the explosion is going to give them away inevitably. Like the sound is not really the thing. It's that they're exploding rocks, so it's reverberating through the rock. Yeah, yeah. I like this. I think we're going with this. This is a good thing. So I just need to sort of implement that into this one that I already like. Actually, oh, that's So we have the very bobbit worm-like jaw, like that. Then we have the spike, and then we can have a sort of like the underside of a tongue kind of thing going on with that little like skin tag. Yep. Yeah, I think that works. Now we just have to sort of figure out how this fits to the rest of the body. Um, yeah, I'm happy that I have like the jaw shape sort of down. I do want them to be slightly hairy, sort of like a really because other than that, it's kind of hard to tell that this thing's like a mammal, or not a mammal, but like, yeah. What is this? What is this thing? Is this a mammal? I don't really care about categories that much, but maybe we can fit it into one. It'd be a very weird mammal, that's for sure. I guess I can sort of add gum looking things to make this seem more like it's like a tooth, and then have the skin be more like mole rat like. And I mean, we already have sort of the star nosed mole type of little diddly bits. But other than that, it's kind of giving very strong, aquatic vibes because of all the aquatic references we used. So it'd be hard to like. Does it have? Hey, the arms and legs. Sensory bristles. Okay, I do want to take this guy as inspiration. So, like, scoop. So the shell, we can definitely do some like turtle inspiration. This is like a very weird turtle. Actually, yeah, I think sort of saying that it is a turtle can give us some leeway. Like this, shell is kind of turtle-esque, like soft shell turtle, and then like a really lengthened bottom half. And so then it needs 4 legs, right? If we say that it's a mammal, we need 4 legs. We can't have like the multiple legs. So 2 here. And then another 2 like here. Really like long claws. Right? But again, I'm not, I don't really care about sticking to, like, I can just do the caterpillar legs because I'm not really like concerned about, oh, it has to fit into mammal, and mammals only have 4 legs, so I'm only allowed to use 4 legs. No, I like to watch the speculative evolution crowd weep. Let me try adding some more legs. What would you call this? Well, we already have a word, a name for it that I think is absolutely perfect. Um, a person in the chat came up with it last stream. I forgot their name, sadly. But it was gimlet worm. These things are called gimlet worms, and that's the most perfect name for them. Does it have a skeleton? I think like it would, wouldn't it? I definitely think it would have a skeleton. Yeah, actually, now that it's looking more like mole ratty and flesh-like, I don't think the caterpillar legs work. I do think we actually need 4 legs. I do think 4 legs. Have a way to not swallow dirt. No, it swallows all the dirt. we're suspending disbelief to a certain extent. Uh, so it's just swallowing the dirt, eating all of it. How small and shit do I want these? I do want them to look very pitiful, kind of. No, no, it's called the gimlet worm. We've already have a name. Swallowing dirt, sandworm and dune though. How that could work in grounded, realistic way. Isn't swallowing dirt? What the? Yeah, the sandworms like also swallow dirt. So like it's like a thing that people choose we can suspend our disbelief enough to allow that sort of thing to happen because like most fast digging creatures in fantasy literally just scoff down tons of dirt when they dig. All of them, like most of them, do that. Some of them push it out of the way, like the claw ones, but most of the ones with big mouths, like what do you think they just eat the dirt? And people just accept that. So I think it's fine if we have it eat some of the dirt or all of the dirt. Oh shit. Uh, New Lee, thank you for the subscription. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Monster Garden. Yippee. Could even use some of the minerals it swallows. Uh, it's gonna. Yeah. I mean, we sort of thought about that as well. Like that's like the simplest way to make a digging creature a little cooler is just say, oh, some of the minerals it eats it uses to like enhance its own shell or skin or whatever. So like in this case, it definitely does that as well. Mostly for the front spike, but also like its skeleton probably or whatever. Because this is like its skin over a shell. So it has a shell. It's just that it's under skin. Yeah, I'm thinking that's interesting. I like that. Already sub. Nice, nice. Appreciate it. After they see their mask and go ape shit. I mean, there doesn't have to be many security measures. They're not like a super soldier. They're actually weaker after their transformation than a normal person. Just hold them down. It's not much they can do. And also, we changed the story of them a little bit after talking to some people in the Discord server. I realized that yeah, like even though through propaganda and stuff like that, you can probably cover up a slight bit of that controversial issue about the immortal soldiers. I think inevitably news is going to get out that the masks don't really help. So in the server we sort of discussed that instead of that, um, the people that get turned into immortal soldiers would either be like prisoners and stuff like that, forced to do it, or soldiers on their deathbeds, like in critical condition, would be offered the opportunity. And I think in that case, even with the negative stigma, with survival instinct kicking in, you'd be much more likely to actually accept that offer. And there's a lot of soldiers dying, so you'd most likely get a few that say yep and regret it afterwards, but then it's too late. I was also yeah, no. Yeah, I'm actually happy with this. I think I'm happy with this. I like the little dumb legs. So I think I'm gonna leave it at this because I don't want to like fully flesh it out because its shape might need to change slightly depending on how the drill looks. Which means next we have to see about shoving these guys into a drill. Uh, and seeing how that goes. Thank you. I can sort of imagine the armature or whatever they use to like lock this down would start like here to use the rigidity of the shell as a mounting point. So from their necks would extend past that. But the okay. Uh, Whatever happened to the Curseborn? Or is that still workshopping? I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure. Or yeah, I haven't like done anything with it besides what we've talked about in the Discord. I'm not sure where to put it yet, like how to utilize it. Yeah, the mechanical worm's gonna be tough. Gonna be tough. Because there's a fair few elements that I wanna get in, and how I'm gonna actually make it look cool. I did want like a botfly sort of look to it with the locomotion, like how the drill moves. With like tiny mechanical legs, sort of are all around the outside. I like step it forward. So those could be like mounted in rings, I guess. To have the whole thing be kind of flexible and like turn. Like the avatar drill. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The avatar drill does have like wheels all around it, right? The front. There's an exact image I am thinking of take inspiration from. I'm not sure if I can find it though. I think I can. Give me a sec. Oh shit. Fucking awesome. It's not what I'm looking for, but I accidentally stumbled upon a really cool worm design as well. Look at this. A little bit of a grainy image, but that, that's pretty much the same idea as what we're trying to go for. They just made it a billion times better. They just made it so much better, though. Sick. Yeah, it's not what I'm looking for, though. I remember another image. Ooh. It's by this artist. Artist Explore? Ah, I think I found it. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. This is exactly what I need. Source of the image on... Oh, well, thanks. Uh, uh, this is the image I remember seeing that, like, inspired the idea for, like, multiple heads. This... I... You've probably seen this. I think this is pretty... I felt that this was, like, a really big image, like, on Twitter and stuff as well. Probably by this artist. I really love whatever the fuck is happening here, but I love the like bio cable management that was going on back here. Uh, you can't taper the front; it would tip forward. We'll just weigh down the back then, or add some pistons to fucking move it. Bladed need to be stick forward and up so it can shave instead of bladed. Blades need to stick. Blades. Blades. I don't have any blades. Yeah, something like this. I want to like do something like that with the front head. No idea how I'm gonna manage that though. Yeah, so probably I also need to like lengthen the concept of the worms to allow for that. The cutting surface. There is no cutting surface. It uses a spike in its mouth to destroy rock using magic. There's no cutting surface. Worms in an outer circle. Outer circle on the drill so that it makes bigger rocks that they can more easily break off to deal with than a lot of dust. I mean, dust you can just shovel. And also, if it breaks off a big chunk in the middle, how are you, like, okay, if it just breaks off a chunk here in the middle, what next? Now move the whole drill backwards so you can get access to the rock and fucking roll it out? It's gonna be tough because the legs are Fucking with the... Yeah, but I don't want the drill to be hollow. I could have the legs be like a strip this direction instead. And we need some like piston help the head around. I want the worms are too orderly at the front. They sort of need to look like they're like snapping at shit, you know? I'm still thinking like how far out they go. Yeah, more like that. Uh, apologies if you're dick of this. Apologies if you're dick of this question. But anime games or movies you find influential. Um, I I think subconsciously probably, but I can't like think of them off the top of my head. Um, I feel like I like Guillermo del Toro movies. I also like Studio Ghibli movies. Like I like Nausicaa quite a lot. I also like um Princess Mononoke. Uh, but I'm just saying movies that I like, not really ones that I take inspiration from. Then I don't fucking know. It's more subconscious. I think I can't really fully think of like, oh yes, I've taken bits from this thing. No, more games like Darkwood. Uh, there's not really a war game that I like the aesthetic of yet. Or oh yeah, fucking uh, what's the? Forever Winter. That game's like incredible, but that's like more of a recent thing. I only discovered that that only started coming out after I've worked on this project. But I've definitely like taken notice of it and been like, oh shit, I really want to. It's definitely influenced the way I think about the designs of the world for sure. I still don't like the head. But yeah, I'm liking these rows instead, and then the piston thing like this is kind of a nice set of details, I think. And this thing would be like this big, and right. So you like peak media? Yes, I like good movies, I guess. Yeah. I like this piston ring, but I definitely need to think compact. I think I want this longer. This should be like the simplest version of this worm, so I definitely shouldn't like overdo complexity that much. Is that a candle? Oh, it's a fucking. You mean this? No, it's person as a scale comparison. I'm just drawing random fucking lines. Just kidding. The hard part I think of this design is generally going to be the backside of it, because I really want the backside to actually look good, but it's really hard to like draw the backside of the worm and make it look good because worms normally look good from a side view. Like, how do I make the back look good? Hold on. I gotta look tunnel bores. Yeah, they're just a fucking tube. The sad thing is they're really cool, but they are just a tube. The front's the most interesting part, which you don't even see the back. Is there a reference of the back? Yeah, how am I gonna... I don't know. We haven't decided on how the worms get encouraged to dig yet. Kind of need to come up with that as well. Last stream we thought of like they spray a type of fungus on the wall that the worms like to eat, but sort of changed my mind on that. Kind of want something. Bear with me. I'm quiet now because I'm just trying to wrap my head around what the fuck I'm even. I need a mana generator somewhere on this thing as well, but like, how the fuck am I gonna make it look aesthetic? Mainly, okay, there's a shoot coming out of its ass where the dirt comes out that it digs, right? And you know, I think I can. Would you eat drywall? If it was tasty, yeah. Yeah, I would. I don't think it is though. So stuck at the moment. My brain's not working. This feels too big. And this feels too short. It's a tough one. Yeah, yeah, I am designing a tunnel dig. Where are these references from? These? Just searched up Pinterest. I searched biomech because I was looking for this one. And I also found this just on the side, and I found it was cool, so I just pulled it up. I'm not really using it. Just put it up and haven't removed it. A little short, stumpy thing will work. I don't hate this, actually. Don't really hate it. The issue is there's not many, because it's the simplest version of it, there's not much to add to its length. There's There's the head, and then the length of the worms, then the chute where their poop goes down and then drops out the back, and then some controls to like move the head up and down and stuff. We haven't figured out yet how these things are getting forced to dig, so that hasn't been added into the equation of like haven't. There's nothing else. Also, I want these to look more like they're. That's not right yet. Can the war dancer have one of these worms as a pet? Sure. What is this thing's color scheme? I mean, I don't know. I still haven't. I'm still sketching it. I don't think about the colors while I'm doing this. I think about them afterward. Oh yeah, yeah, some sort of vibrator with yeah, some sort of vibrating device behind them that they don't like to make them go forward. Makes sense. Also, some sort of vibration in front of them would make sense. Like if you have like a rod that goes out that shakes like that thumps the rock in front of them. Oh yeah, that could work. Yeah, like a thumper sort of. We're going Dune style. Just have a rod that hits the rock in front of them, making them think that there's something there, and then they start digging. Haha, vibrator, yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually, I like that. Thumper. They're attracted to vibrations. It makes a lot of sense. Does it have wheels? I was thinking that, yeah, I very poorly drew it, but there were gonna be like rows of very simple actuate, like legs like this, that just sort of move in a circular motion, all along the outside like this, and they'd make it look kind of like a bot fly, a giant bot fly. Still not happy. I think it's getting somewhere, but not happy with it. It's just so stumpy. It's the issue. It's such a stumpy thing, and just making it longer doesn't make sense. Because why would it be longer than this? Tunnel drills are so fucking long because there's like a bunch of shit that's going on inside of them. And they're also like building the tunnel behind. Like there's a. Ooh, this is a really good image actually. Hold on. This could help. This could be a big help actually. Look at this. Oh yeah, that looks sick. How can I emulate this? How can I make this feeling with this? I love how it has a tapered look. Yeah, I need to do this somehow. Also, I just found this as well. Coincidentally, I don't know how we managed this, but there's a fucking drill that has an arm coming out of it. Um, which kind of looks like the worm we've designed. So it's like I could fake it and say, "Oh yeah, we totally took inspiration from this for the creature," and that's why it has like a weird tongue arm coming out. It's because a drill has a tongue arm coming out. But yeah, this looks really cool. But you can see how I'm like thinking about it as like a bot worm, right? Or a bot fly. Oh, look, bot flies. Right? Right? There's like a correlation between that you could totally do, but I just have to find it. I just gotta find it. I think what's really good about this design. So okay, I need to understand why I like this, because if I understand why I like this, the big yellow one, then I can more better translate that into what I want to do. So I think the reason I like it firstly is because the drill is the biggest section. With this, the drill is just this. So I need more infrastructure behind the drill to make it like a bigger chunk of the design, right? To make it really pop. And then everything behind it gets smaller. So that's the botfly thing going on. Like it's this. And I like this like separate ring. I like this for like uh movement, and then like separate ring like this, but it's still smaller than the head, so this can be the legs, right? And then I love this like skeletal sort of thing going on here as well. How the fuck am I gonna, okay, I can have like a bottom half like this that's like a conveyor belt like that, and that's getting like propped up on wheels like that, and then like the control panel is here, and then it has like some like scaffolding around it that helps it just protect it from like falling rocks and shit like that. And then we can have like another separate compartment that's for the generator if we want. That's like even smaller or something. Yeah. Also, I like that it's like a chute that drops the stone down. Might be interesting. Like this, have it be a chute instead, because then they can just put like mine carts behind it instead of having to like shovel it off the ground. I think that's getting somewhere. That's getting somewhere. Yeah, yeah, the it's gonna the for the smaller ones they just have to manually put support beams in. And then I thought for like larger ones, they'd obviously build in all of those like automatic the all those systems that like put in the automatic why do I keep saying automatic? The big concrete like tunnel sections. Yeah, I don't want it to be too big because I'm thinking it would be assemblable in the trenches. So like we can't have it be too big. So like sort of uncomfortably having to crouch down like a storm drain kind of size tunnel. It would turn into like a storm drain size tunnel. But yeah, I'm liking this actually. I'm liking this. Still need to this red bit. Fuck's this red bit? And I love the little walkways as well. Issue is we can't have walkways. This thing isn't that big. Like that big. Right? Um, we do. What do shouldn't it be bigger than the person? Otherwise, they just make slightly smaller than a guy tunnel. Well, yes, they'd make smaller tunnels, but it's like this is the trench version that they use to like make little trench tunnels and shit. And it's more of like a quick way of getting a tunnel started. You can always just expand it afterwards. You know, if the I think it's yeah. I mean, I've looked up references of like tunnels and trenches, and they are quite a sort of awkward, kind of uncomfortable size. I don't know if have them. No, I don't have the references on here. Oh no, I do. Yeah, look, they're sort of crouching down. I think. I don't know. I don't know. We can always make it bigger. It's not like a fucking one and done thing. Yeah, but more like a pilot hole. Because the thing is, the hole's circular anyway, so they'd have to like cut away the corners. This is like it's less of a this digs the whole tunnel by itself, and it's more of a like a pilot hole thing, like you say, where it does the majority of the work, right? So it's the big workhorse that does most of the digging, and then the rest is the cleanup by the soldiers who put in the supports. They cut the edges, like they dig out the edges to make them corners and nice and square, and then they put the supports in and all of that, you know. So this is not like a fully self-sustained thing. Yeah, you know what? I would love some levers. I think some levers would be great. Like those big old like train levers like this, and then some like pipe or like some gauges here that could probably like tell you the elevation of this and the left and right turns, so you can use that to like, and also something to like lower this up and down as well, and like the speed and all of that. So then they have yeah, you can have like a whole fucking like sort of like a hand crank deal here, and also some hand cranks here for like yaw and turn and whatever. Yeah, so this is like a side view. It doesn't really help, but like if I draw this from the top, it's more like the chute. This chute is here, and then these controls are off to the side here, like this, and then that's the body. So there's a dude standing here, sort of manning the drill and getting orders, being told like where to turn and stuff. You know, I think that's good. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. I think the head needs to be even bigger though. Wider, not bigger, but it's a little thin still. Just make that a fucking big old chunk. That. Okay, but now the problem is how do they replace these heads? Because these worms can die. So how are they getting to the front of the thing to replace it? It'd be best if there was a way to pull them out of the back. So, hmm. Let me think. Let me think. Didn't get stuck in the mud. Well, yeah, yeah, it would be better, but it wouldn't be as cool. And that's literally the only excuse. Like, there's so many things that could be done better. It's just that I like the idea of little botfly legs on the outside that make it look like a botfly, because that's just cool. Would wheels be better? Yes. Would tracks be better? Yes. But botfly legs can't help. Oh, way bigger than forearm size. Yeah, that's completely fine. Uh, like, dude, don't take everything I say as gospel. Like, I think of the answer as soon as you fucking ask it. It can always change. Like, I'm not a very decisive person. I'll answer, oh, it's like forearm size because that's what I think it should be the size of at the time, and then later on, it'll be twice forearm size or like big like this, and people will go, well, didn't you say it was gonna be forearm size? Well, yes, I did say that. Did past tense. Now I changed my mind. It's this big now. Out to replace the worm. I feel like there needs to be a way to do it quickly. Because you'd preferably want to do it quickly. It'd be very inefficient. Like it's the most likely part to fail is the worms themselves. So it needs to be the quickest to change because it's the most likely thing to start breaking down. I can't zoom in. Hello, hello. Let me zoom in. Thank you. What if it's like a like a revolver? What if it's like a revolver? We need like a space. Holy shit! Hold on. There's a space here, like a crawl space, where somebody can shove themselves into the machine, and the back of these cylinders is exposed. So like the back of these worms is just sticking out and it has like a handle like this. And what this guy needs to do is literally crawl into the machine and then pull out this whole worm cartridge, just like twist it and then pull it out, and then just pull it backwards out of the machine, and then bring another one in and shove it in, like reloading the fucking thing. I think that'd be nice and cool, and also very dangerous, which is perfect. Like, why wouldn't you want it to be exact, unnecessarily dangerous? I'm just saying my bad. No, no, sorry. I didn't mean to come off as like making it sound like I'm uh bothered by it or whatever. I'm just stating the fact that like my opinions constantly fucking change. Like the questions are the answers never stay consistent. If you ask me in a few more minutes, I'll probably answer something different again. Uh, do they just have a pile of worms out back ready for replacement? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I think like that'd be a nice way to solve that issue. This is the like the main axle that turns the head. And then you'd probably have like a gear system to like decouple it. To have like a clutch or something that decouples the main spinning arm in the middle. This is the axle coupler. So you can like decouple it to stop it from turning, so you can pull this out. How do we know which worm is dead? How do we know a worm is dead? How do we know a worm is dead? There needs to be some sort of way of indicating it. There's probably like a row of lights on the back here that like basically a panel with a bunch of dots on it, and all of them represent one of the worms. And then when one of them turns off, you just have to like turn off the spinning for a sec, crawl in there, pull one out, and reload it. Um, but how do they detect that? This isn't really like we can just say, oh, they just figured out a way to detect it. Like just stick something into them to find it out. When you poke it, it doesn't move. Well, yeah, no shit. Periodically check. Yeah, but that's also gonna slow down the process. I feel like there needs to be a constant way of like monitoring if they're digging or not. And I think it probably can be from their inputs. So the thing is, these worms normally these worms. Oh yeah. Literally, okay. Literally have a mana detector inside of the worm. Just stab it into them. Because oh, I can't fucking zoom in again. Let me zoom in, man. So I'm pressing the fucking zoom button. Thank you. Why does it do that sometimes? It's like, yeah, and you're actually not zooming. You know what? I don't fucking feel like it. I'm pressing plus, but no, you're just gonna stay zoomed out. But yeah, the way these worms dig is that they expel all of the mana they have into the rock, exploding it, and then they suck it back in. So if we find that gland that receives mana, just stab like a little like sensing probe in it, and if it stops detecting cycling mana, then just assume that it's dead, or at least not functioning or not working. You know? And then also that's the same probe they use to add mana into the things. Because the thing is, these things do dig very efficiently, but they do run out of mana, especially with how much they're digging in the case of like using them in these drills. They're digging much at a much faster rate than they would in nature. Which means they need to be fueled with mana. So that's why I'm losing it. I'm fucking losing it. Brother, what is going on, Krita? Are you good, Krita? It's tweaking. Krita's tweaking. Go off when they aren't digging? That's the point! What did I just say? I said we need a thing to detect if they're not digging, which means they're most likely dead. So yes, it would go off if they're dead. Um that's the point of the probe. Yeah, and then we're fueling them with mana. Like that. How do they eat? Because we're not feeding them. They'd starve. Or like, are we digging that long? They would starve. Who up probing they? Uh, who up probing they? Also, the inside of this cylinder is gonna look really cool because it's a bunch of like cylinders on a panel, and each cylinder has like little tubes coming out of it, or like little pipes coming out of it, like a fucking telecom uh panel or a telephone like line panel back in the day. Uh, and then all of those cables are like bundled together and shit. Um, Feeding tubes, yeah, we need feeding tubes too, right? How would we add feeding tubes? Just stab it into the side of their necks? I feel like that'd be fine. Just stab, like, it'd be unrealistic to, like, try and reach all the way around to the front of their mouth. So just poke a hole here and just drip feed them nutrient slop. So yeah, there's a mana tube, uh, mana, and then there's just a fucking feeding tube like this that pumps them with some like random nutrient slop. Okay, bumper. I really like this design. I'm actually really happy with this. Um, like it's coming together a lot better than I was hoping. It looks like a industrial machine kind of thing. I mean, we did literally just copy this, so no shit, it looks like an industrial machine. But you know what I mean. Yeah, I do feel like a part of this ring would be missing. Like a part of this ring is gonna be missing from the legs. So that there's a space where a guy can go into it. Then there's like the feet, do the locomotion, the movement. Hitting the rock and then 20 exploding worms. Yeah, the worms would be just like rapid fire, just little popping, exploding sounds, and then just the main thumper. This thing's definitely not quiet. That's for sure. Hey, it's not quiet. That's not the point of it. If you want quiet, then just have people digging it then. This is if you want fast. If you want that tunnel made by today, do this. Eat soil and gain nutrients that way? Well, yeah, but these guys. Yeah, I guess so. Well, these guys are like rodent. Like, they eat rodents and shit. And they're in bunker cities most of the time. So I guess they would gain some nutrients from the earth, but I do think a part of it would need to be fed to them still to keep them going. So I think a nutrient line would still just if a nutrient line or no nutrient line, which one would look cooler? Having one. So that's why we're having one. Even though maybe yeah, they could get some of their nutrients from the soil. Having one is still cool, so I'm keeping it. Another thing, adding to the caco cacophony, cacophony, cacophony. Yes, the cacophony. Magic naked roll mat maggot, magic naked roll mole rat maggots. Yes, yes, that's basically what they are. But yeah, now it looks more like a world-eating drill. Little mouths. stuff. I still want, yeah, the holes, the whole orientation is, I can definitely still play around with that, see how the holes fit the best. Yeah. And then, by the way, this is the fun part. There's also going to be portable versions of these, because you could totally make a jackhammer with these, right? Just have one with, so just put one in a tube like this, and same idea, like have a little thumper on top of its head, like that, and then just have like a grip, uh, and then just have its ass hanging out the back like that, so you can just have a soldier holding one of these to like use it as a sort of jackhammer type of thing, like that, and then with its own little like mana boiler supply and shit. I think that'd be really cool. And then it also has like sort of a cage in front of it, so you don't just smash it into the wall. It limits how far you can push it. So you just like put that flat against the wall, and then it goes thump thump, and then this thing starts digging, and you just keep moving it around. I think that'd be really cool. Surely that could be used as a gun. I mean, it could be used as a weapon. I don't think a gun. It wouldn't be long ranged, but you definitely could hurt somebody. Like the same thing that happens to the walls, like when they explode, would happen to a person if they hit like a person with the front spike. Your arm would like blow up or something. Not like your whole body, but like a chunk of you would get blown off because of how quickly they inject that amount of mana they have. Why would they not use a normal jackhammer? Because I'm not. Because that's boring. What is it with these questions? Why would they not use a normal jackhammer? Because that's fucking boring. Why would you not want to use a worm instead of a jackhammer? Because it's cool. Even if it's less efficient. If I had the option between using a giant magic drilling worm or a boring fucking jackhammer, I'd use the drilling worm. Why make this design in the first place? Let them just use pickaxes. You know, what's the point of magic? Like, you can have just real life equivalents of the thing that accomplished the same thing as this magic thing that is more generic and more boring. Yeah, why isn't all the rules as same? Why isn't it all the same as real life and nothing is different? And you just make an IRL world. You just draw the real world. Just make realistic portraits. Why come up with fun ideas in the first place? Yeah, sorry I'm taking the piss, but still, what? You know, like, yeah, of course, like, you can make normal jackhammers. I can literally, yeah, like, normal jackhammers would be the easiest fucking solution for that. But why would we do that? Pickaxe with worm on the end. I mean, yeah, you could. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I think we can leave it at this. I'll work on this off stream, but I'm happy with this. This is good. I like the shape of this thing. It good. I might tweak it a little bit, but besides that, could you use this design to make a subterranean tank? Uh, Subterranean tank. What would you shoot at? You're in a tunnel. I'm just thinking of. I mean, yeah, you could. You could definitely make a subterranean tank. I'm just trying to think of how how you'd use a subterranean tank. If there's like underground tunnel battles and a gun sticking out of the front or the back, I guess. I don't know. I think it'd be an extension of this idea I definitely want is a version of this worm that's more simplistic, um, and is remote controlled. Because I was thinking there'd be a type of this worm that is remote controlled, and they just pilot it underground into the base of an enemy, and then release a bunch of the worms into their bunkers to like weaken their structural integrity. So it's like a bioweapon, like worm missiles or worm underground subterranean missiles that instead of blowing things up, they just infest you with bad structural integrity. Yeah. And then also another version I was thinking would be with like um drop pod type of thing where it's like a giant one of these drills that digs into an enemy bunker and then just opens a door, like a sliding door on the side, and a bunch of soldiers just run out. That would also be cool. Or I was thinking that the soldiers would sort of be on the side, like in this weird like pod thing, on the side of the worm. I don't know why they would. Maybe they're like some weird modified soldiers or whatever, but they're all like on the side of the worm like this, and then the worm digs through a tunnel, and then like the soldier runs out, and the worm keeps moving, and the next soldier runs out and shit. Nothing is against the Magic Warfare Convention. Yeah, there is no Magic Warfare Convention. Like a tank that could dig underground and then burst up, shoot a dude, and go back under like a submarine. I mean, you could. You definitely could. It'd be weird, but you could. Okay. How your idea could work would be you have a big one of these worms, like this, a big one of these like drilling machines, and then smaller ones that are poking upwards, like this, and have those be on like pistons or whatever, so they can like dig up, and they have a turret. Like that's a turret in there. So they dig up and then pop out like this and then shoot people and then go back down. I mean, you know what? I actually kind of really like it. That is very goofy and very interesting. You could do the same thing with the soldiers as well. Just have this be like a step ladder instead. Have this be a drill with like a ladder and an exit, and then just have a bunch of people in the interior of this. So you can just surprise attack, like you can just dig under enemy lines and then just have it drill up a little and then just deploy a platoon of soldiers behind enemy lines and then have that go back down and then move on. I like that. I like that a lot. A subterranean marine. That doesn't make sense, but it's a submarine, but it's subterranean. So subterranean marine. Like the driller from Broforce? Yes. Yeah, I like that actually. I like that. It's so goofy. But it's perfectly over the top. I can totally make it work. Yeah, anyway, I think that'll be enough for the stream. I'm gonna go off and like work on this quietly by myself. Take care. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for joining in and to help him